Chapter 4, The Law of Non-Resistance. In this chapter, dear listener, we are invited to walk alongside Florence Scovel Shinn as she speaks of a law as subtle as the wind, the law of non-resistance. When I first turned its pages, I thought of the willows along the riverbanks of Hapung village, how they do not fight the wind, but bend gracefully, thus never breaking. In life too, there is a wisdom in yielding. Madam Shinn tells us that resistance draws to us exactly what we resist. When we fight against circumstances, we become entangled in them. Like a fly caught in a spider's web, the more it struggles, the tighter the snare becomes. And yet, when one ceases to struggle, when one becomes like the willow, pliant and trusting, a path opens. She writes, "Nothing on earth can resist a completely non-resistant person." What does this mean? It is not passivity. It is not weakness. It is a deep, unwavering trust in the flow of life, in the divine order that moves through all things. Consider a quarrel. When met with anger, if one responds with more anger, the flames rise higher. But if one answers with calm, with a smile, the fire has no fuel and soon dies away. In this, the one who practices non-resistance holds the true power. Madame Shinn gives us the example of a woman who faced constant criticism from a family member. At first, she answered in kind, and the discord grew. But when she adopted an attitude of quiet forgiveness and refused to resist the harsh words, a transformation occurred. The critic fell silent. Harmony returned. There is also the story of a man who struggled against financial hardship. He resented his lack, resisted the very idea of poverty. And so, lack persisted. But when he surrendered his bitterness and began to give thanks even for small things, abundance began to flow into his life. Such is the nature of this law. Whatever we bless, blesses us in return. Whatever we fight, fights us back. I am reminded too of the fields in Toji, how they yield to the seasons. The rice does not resist the coming of winter. It trusts that spring will return. In our hearts, we must cultivate the same trust. Madam Shinn encourages us to use affirmations, gentle words that shape our inner world. She suggests we say, "I am undisturbed by appearances. I trust in the perfect outcome of every situation." And as we repeat such words, our resistance softens. We begin to float with the current of life, rather than struggle against it. She speaks also of forgiveness, a deep form of non-resistance. To hold a grudge is to remain chained to the past, but to forgive is to release both the other and ourselves, setting the spirit free. In conclusion, this chapter invites us to practice the art of non-resistance in all things, in relationships, in fortune, in health. It is a path of quiet strength, of deep faith. Like the river in spring, flowing ever onward, not because it fights the stones in its path, but because it moves around them, trusting in its source. So too may we move through life. Let us remember,